Okay, the subject today is Lucifer. Lucifer the man. Yeah, that's right. We've all been taught, and to this day they teach, wrote thousands of books that Lucifer was a fallen angel. Lucifer was not a fallen angel. Lucifer was a man. Okay, let's go into the book of Isaiah, where it speaks of Lucifer, which this word has only been used one time in the scriptures. Throughout all the scriptures, this word. And this word is a Latin word. You must remember that the first translations, basically, out of the Hebrew writings and the Greek writings, were translated into Latin because that was the first organized church of the day that rose to a power. And I think it was Constantine, almost 200 years after the crucifixion, declared that Christianity is the religion of the state of Rome. And that's when they began to translate the Hebrew and the Greek scriptures into Latin. So it is a Latin word. Now, in the King James and many other different translations of the Bible, especially the King James, of course, was the English, and he commanded, I don't know what it was, in the 1600s, hundreds of years after the Catholic Church, he wanted to know and understand and have the teachings of the scriptures for people that knew and understood English. And for some strange reason, when them translators got into it, they held on and used that Latin word Lucifer, which means bearer of the light, he that bears the light. And once again, we're all told it's a fallen angel, it's Satan, it's the devil, and that's who Lucifer is. But no, Lucifer is a man. It specifically spells it out. And if anybody says that I'm off on this and that this is not true after I read this, you can go to the book of the scrolls and the books that were found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. They found a book of Isaiah, and when they translated the book of Isaiah out of the Dead Sea Scrolls, it darn near lines up word for word, especially into the English translation. So here, let's get started here and read this. But before I read this, I'd like to tell a little story. Uh, I've always said, and it seems like I probably say it every time I do any kind of little teaching, that there's only been two men in the earth. Those two men are one and the same, and those men are in you. Whether you're a male or female, those two men are in you. I also like to say there's only ever been two women in the earth, and those two women are in you, whether you're a male or female. And those two women are one and the same. And as a little bit time goes on, and as you begin to study yourself, and you begin to search, it will start coming to you. You'll begin to understand it and see it in a whole different perspective. And so the little story I'd like to tell you is I had two daughters that were in grade school. And down the street, there was two boys in the same grades. They was all probably starting out sixth grade. And them two boys were identical twins. I'm talking identical. I could not tell them apart. So, well, he's not coming in hot. Hey, hey, hey. So, those two twins were identical twins. It's like, coming into a movie late, 30 minutes late. That's where you're at right now, but I'll fill you in, okay? So those two twins were identical twins. And it was so embarrassing for me because I could never tell those two boys apart. I don't care the clothes they wore, even the way they spoke and joked around and they played, and I could never tell those two boys apart. I don't know how my daughters did. And one night here just recently, I was with a bunch of people and that knew those two boys, and we started talking about them being identical twins. And the a woman spoke up and said, "Well, they probably had the same DNA." And I thought, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. And I looked it up a little bit, and sure enough, those that study the human makeup and the genomes and all that of the human being, that's what they say. They say darn near that's why they're identical twins. They got almost the exact same DNA. So that's just something to think about when I make that description and speak about. There's only ever been two men in the earth, and they're one and the same. So let's get into what it has to say about Lucifer and who Lucifer really is. And we're not going to go through the whole chapter. Let's just start about 14:11. It says, "Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning." Okay, look at there. It even refers to him as son, not feminine, but male. O Lucifer, son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. And I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. Excuse me. And I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? See, here it is referring to him twice in the male personage, and now it's saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof? Okay, this is a man. The question is, who is this man? If it's a man and it's not an angel, who is this man? Okay, well, uh, let's go to I personally believe it was Adam. But more than Adam, I believe it was the Christ. It was the tree of life that was in the garden. It was the Christ. Here it is referred to as Lucifer, son of the morning. What was Adam? Adam was the son of God. What was Christ referred to as and been referred to as? Uh, the Son of God. So, and you got many translations and many commentaries and Bible teachers and book writers, and they say Lucifer was the king of Babylon, which it speaks of up in the beginning. And no, it wasn't the king of Babylon. The only king that was come close to the kind of power and pomp and majesty was Nebuchadnezzar, and he was restored in his time, according to the scriptures, back to his kingdom. He didn't fall from heaven. The scripture says, how art thou fallen from heaven? These are the spiritual places and dimensions that these things are taking place. So let's look at that word a little bit, Lucifer. In the Hebrew, which is the original language, the word is Hayal. Hayal. I'm really not good with the pronunciation, but it's something down those lines. But nevertheless, it has the meaning in the Hebrew. And in the meaning of the Hebrew, it is the shining one. The shining one. How art thou fallen from heaven, O shining one, son of the morning? How thou is cut down to the ground. Okay, that's really something there, right? The shining one. Well, when we go from the Greek, the Hebrew, and we go into the Greek, and where we get our word epiphany, our English word epiphany, we get it from the Greek word epipheneru. And what epiphany is, it speaks of having an awakening, a thought, an understanding coming into your mind, a revelation. I mean, you've heard Christians a million times saying, I had a revelation. And they believe it was an understanding was opened up to them concerning the scriptures. That's where we get that English word epiphany. Now, in the Greek, the epipheneru, guess what it's translated to into our English? A shining that comes down upon one. The shining that comes down upon one. That's the revelation. He was the shining one in the beginning in the garden. It was the Christ. It was the tree of life. And when you receive a revelation in today's modern language and an understanding of the scriptures, it comes down from the shining one. Yeah, I know that's a hard one, once again, for all the Christians to wrap their heads around and grasp, but there it is. So here comes the ice cream man now. All kinds of action in this neighborhood. So, yeah, help me lose my concentration there a little bit. Thanks, guy, but have a good day. Well, that's about what I want to get by and pass your way is who was this Lucifer? He was not a fallen angel. He was Hayal. He was the shining one. He was the Christ that fell. Now here's some food for thought. Listen to what he said when he fell. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. What was Christ offered in the temptation? Isn't that exactly what he was offered in the temptation in the wilderness? Nothing less, nothing more. That's exactly what he was offered. What did what we call the devil say during the last of the temptations and putting him through them trying times in the wilderness? If thou wilt bend down and confess my name, and he showed him, he took him to a high spot, a high place, and showed him, the kingdoms of the earth and the nations and all the wealth and the glory, and said, if you will bow down to me, I will give this to you. Hey, he already tasted of it, okay? Because of the woman, he entered into the fall. He tasted of it. And now he's back to redeem that woman. And he, that temptation has no hold or bar or power over him. He resisted. Once again, that's why the scriptures say that Satan departed from him in the wilderness because Satan could not find anything in him. Well, in the garden, he found something in him. What was it that he found in the tree of life, the Christ, the Adam, the first Adam? He found the love for a woman. You catch it? That was his weakness. It was a love for that woman, which was what? Which speaks of the soul. You're that woman. Every man out there and every woman out there that believes in Jesus Christ, reads the scriptures, goes to church, and does their best to be Christ-like, you're that man. You're that woman that was lost in the garden. You are now that man and that woman. Your soul is the woman that's being restored back into the place, back into the kingdom, in that place from whence we all fell. The sons of God fell with him. He was allowed to eat from the fruits of the trees and all the other trees that were in the garden. There were two main trees, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It was one and the same, just like those two twin boys. I couldn't tell them apart. It was one and the same. It was the Christ. And a little later on, I'll go a little deeper into the scriptures and show and give more, build upon it. Not really, I don't like really saying I give more evidence, but build upon it. The scriptures say that the Christ was crucified from before the foundation of the earth. Well, wait a minute now. He was crucified 2,000, almost 3,000 years ago on Calvary. What is that scripture talking about? From before the foundations of the earth? Here's one for you. The Christ said in the New Testament and made a statement, I beheld Satan fall from heaven not like, as. I beheld Satan fall as lightning from heaven. Hey, pray tell, please explain to me, where was he standing when he beheld such a thing? I'll guarantee you it wasn't Calvary. Where was he standing when he beheld such a thing? Well, okay. I know that's all a bit much, but hey, it's out there now. Ain't no taking it back. What are you going to do with it? All right. Love y'all. Have a great life.